So it's 11:11. We could start our chat. Did everyone get a chance to do the readings for chapter 7 and 8? Kind of go over it.
Yeah.
Okay, it says a good place to start would be the Zappos videos. What did everyone think of that? I thought it was kind of cool how they showed just how much the leader can influence the workplace environment and culture. Yeah. Sorry, my husband's calling me. I think my manager has kind of done the same thing. Oh, okay, someone else is going to have to talk. Hold on. You're okay.
No, I think that in the workforce, like, it is, like you just said, it is interesting.
Hold on. Come on, Sam.
It seemed like 7 obviously, like, emphasized and focused on group effort and stuff in the workplace.
I don't know. Well, so like everyone who like hasn't been here, I'm a nanny of 9 kids, which is like kind of crazy. So I obviously have to like work as a team a lot, like myself and like the parents. So I think that like group leadership definitely applies in my life, because the 3 of us, like myself and like the mom and dad, like we work together to like keep the kids together in school, like just to be like if they're bad or we're trying to like keep them in trouble or just like keeping up on the kids in general, because 9 kids is a lot of kids to keep up on.
Yeah.
And you can't do it by yourself. So I think that the best part about group leadership is that you have a team to work with, like versus leadership when you yourself are just standing there and you're trying to like be a leader to this group of people. Definitely think that group leadership has that advantage of being able to have that. What else does everyone else have to say?
Work together is like a cohesive group. It definitely takes a load off of one person, because being the leader, being the manager, being in charge of people can be very stressful.
Yeah.
So having that group, like I said, as long as everybody works together, it works great.
Yeah. I agree with that.
How much do you guys think a leader influences the group culture? Do you think they have a big role or not a big role at all, or it just kind of depends on the leader?
I think they model the behavior that is expected.
Yeah.
They're a role model.
I think if there's like a leader of the group, obviously they're a leader for a reason. You know, like you don't just pick a leader and you're like, oh, actually you get the leadership. You know, like you're the leader. Like,
right. Well, it's like how in the book it said, like it's kind of a process of elimination to determine a leader. That you don't just pick it. It's okay. Well, they're not going to be good. They're not going to be good. So.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That too. It's just like setting a good example and feeling confident in someone to sort of initiate decisions and then take into account others' ideas and be accepting of that and then like work a consensus together.
Right.
Yeah, and I think one of the most important like topics, like now that we're talking about like group leadership and everything in chapter 7 is like emergent leadership. So like as you like emerge as a leader, like there are ways to not become a leader and there are ways to become a leader. Right. Like obviously you have to show responsibility, you have to show that you have the characteristics to be a good leader. You know, like you don't just become a leader like we were just talking about, like it's not random. Like you have to show that you deserve that position.
Yeah.
Those are criteria, yeah. Definitely.
I think in a leader it's just they have different strengths and weaknesses than like more of a follower type person does. Like I said, you're like more reliant on them for direction kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like the importance of a leadership role.
Yeah.
Should we go into group decision making? I'm just like going down chapter 7 so we like hit.
Yes.
Oh, Lennon joined in. Did everyone see your comment? Chosen leaders also have a very negative outcome. Oh, why did it go away? Hold on.
How do you see their
Oh, here it is.
comment?
It'll like pop up.
It says it makes
and
it
it'll
less
come on the side.
individual person. It can become too much for a single person. Chosen leaders can also have a very negative outcome on the group. They can have bad moral if they have a bad manager. I think they heavily affect the culture. I agree, Lennon.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Like, I definitely think, obviously, group leadership, like, someone can spoil group leadership. Like, if you have a person that, like, doesn't care as much about a project or, like, a group as you do, like, what if you have different roles than the group? You know what I mean? Like that can definitely turn bad, for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. All right, so
Decided to lose it right when the video started.
we can talk about team leadership, or do you guys want to go into chapter 8? I mean, we kind
Sure.
of talked about team leadership. Does anyone have any like specific things about team leadership, what they read?
I thought it was interesting that team leadership relies on sort of like there's a single leader, and they kind of come out and become a leader when they need to, rather than with a group when there's definitely one leader that kind of pushes everyone in a certain direction and sets the culture.
Yeah, and in our prompt, I'm just making sure that we like hit everything plus the chapters. Discuss with your group members your thoughts on organizational culture, what type of cultures you've experienced in the workplace, so positive, negative, engaging, entertaining, and if you believe that the leadership like shape the culture. So like in team leadership, like has anyone had any bad experiences that like someone's been in a group leadership that like has anyone like experienced like negative? We talked about like good ways, but like has anyone experienced?
I've experienced a positive one that I'm in right now, and it's really motivating, and everyone's always excited to come into work, and we all, you know, want to achieve the same goal because that's what our manager wants, and not just because she's our boss, but because she's excited about what we're doing and what we're selling, so that kind of helps us like look forward to what we're doing and all kind of achieve that same goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had negative experiences where the goals weren't very clear and they were sort of kind of random. You know, like they were forced loosely. They weren't always like evenly enforced. That always came out negatively. You never knew what you were walking into.
Okay, Lennon chimed in. I'll read her thing. Everyone can see the chat on the side. It makes it less stressful for each individual person. It can be too much for a single person. Oh, is this the one? Oh, no, here we go. I've had a really bad manager that hated their job, and it was stressful for everyone. No one wanted to be there because we weren't encouraged.
Yeah.
In anything we do. That's so true, because if you don't have like encouragement and like wanting to be a group and someone wants to be an individual and you're stuck by yourself, like what are you going to do? You know, like that's not even, there's no point of being a team anymore, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
I had Go ahead.
It's
Okay.
sorry, go ahead.
Well, I would say at the last restaurant I worked at, I had 2 different managers. Both of them had a hard time kind of controlling their temper. So it was always, and one of them happened to be our GM, so it was awful. And one night he was so pissed off for Lord only knows what reason. There was an entire rack of like bar glassware stacked up, and he threw it on the ground, and it shattered everywhere. And we had another manager that punched a microwave in the middle of the shift and broke. I would have been happier to leave that place because I was like, how do you come into work and you want me to listen to you when this is the way you act?
Yeah, very unprofessional.
Yeah, it was awful, awful.
I can't even imagine.
You know?
Sounds like chaos.
And that's like the most important thing, like if you guys think about like those situations, like how important it is to have a role model of a manager, you know, like how important it is to like have someone who has structure, who has their mind together.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, you're trying to control a business, but you can't really even control yourself, so it doesn't really work.
Exactly.
I think encouragement and just motivation is huge. I mean, you're setting the example, so as the leader, everyone's looking to you not only for answers, but you know, encouragement when you feel lost, or encouragement when you're doing good, and things like that. And when they do promote their own product and they like what they're selling and they like the business that they're leading and working for, I think it helps everyone below them. Because I've always liked when leaders don't make me feel beneath them, but make me feel equal. They're just there to help me with
like
questions.
They trust you.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. In my work, we try to encourage people to kind of lead their own work eventually, to the point where you don't have to really even kind of direct them, but they completely know what they have to do.
Yeah.
So they're basically their own leaders at some point.
Oh, yeah.
It's really empowering to do that. I think we talked about that last chapter, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that like kind of brings us into like chapter 8, like leadership in organizations, like the organizations that we work in, and like leader as a culture maker, like the culture of a company and the culture of your workplace definitely is like kind of like, I don't know, I kind of sometimes like compare culture to like just like the vibe of like where you work, you know, like is everyone positive, is everyone motivated, you know, things like that.
Right. It's also like you have stories, like organizational stories, like that reflect the values of your culture. You know, like stories about like the CEO comes in and picks up trash in the parking lot just like everybody else, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Show what you're supposed to do.
All right, guys. Well, that was 10 minutes on the dot.
Perfect.
Nice. Everyone for being here.
Everyone get
Very successful. Okay, so for the project, just so everyone remembers. Oh, go ahead, John.
I'm sorry. Did everyone get a chance to put some input on the discussion, or have anything else they want to say?
I'm good.
I think we're good. I think we did a good job.
All right. Anyway.
Okay, so Taylor's going to post a Google Doc for everyone. Just honestly, I need to like read more, like the rubric and everything. So everyone like go in under the Leadership Database Program and just read the rubric because I think all of us are still kind of confused. I mean, I know I am. I can speak for myself. I definitely don't even know like what it entails. We obviously all picked our topics. So everyone needs to go. I mean, I think Professor Wilson's like pretty awesome about emailing back really fast. Like if anyone has any like specific things, or we can email her as a group if everyone wants. Let's get in.
I'll send out that Google Doc right now, and then I'll clip this video and post it today, so I'll be done for the week.
Awesome.
Yay!
Thank you.
Thanks,
guys. Next Tuesday, right?
The what?
Next Tuesday.
Yeah, let's.
Tuesday or Monday.
Yeah. Let's. Does Tuesday work for everyone? Because this was successful. This is the first time we've had everyone. So I say, okay, London said Tuesday works. How about everyone else?
Yep.
Yeah, Tuesday's good for me.
Okay, so why don't we do Tuesday? That way everyone will be done with their project, and then we can like look at that. Like honestly, we should just take 10 minutes, our first 10 minutes, if everyone has like 20 instead of 10, and we like talk about our project, see like what we need to work on. It'll be nice to like have it like a rough draft like a week before, so we have a week to like finalize.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so Tuesday at 11?
Tuesday at 11, yeah. So have your project done before the video call.
Okay.
Does that work? So everyone have their rough draft. Like honestly, if you just have your rough draft, like you have like your best rough draft.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, guys. We'll see you next
All right. See you next week. Have a good day.